that actually starts with the story of how I discovered fan fiction. I was a stay-at-home mom for 9 years, and last year Lily, my youngest, went off to kindergarten, and kindergarten is full-time. So for the very first time in a very long time, I had free time to myself, and I had absolutely no clue what to do with myself. When I picked them up from school the first day, I took the girls shopping at Justice just for something fun to do, and I had been so bored at home all day. I wanted to get out and do something, and we went shopping, and over the intercom, Justin Bieber comes on. And Emmy informs me, my oldest, at the time she was 8, she informs me that Justin Bieber is hot, and so are the Jonas Brothers. And she asked me if I would download some of their songs on the iPod. I told her I wanted to check them out first. I'd always been a fan of the Jonas Brothers. I'd heard their music and I liked it, but I wouldn't consider myself an Uber. I definitely wouldn't have, beyond just a few of their songs that played all the time, I probably couldn't have told you if it was a Jonas Brothers song. Came home, and all that night got on YouTube and just started to look up everything I could find on the Jonas Brothers. Every video, every interview, every lyric that they had, just to make sure that everything was appropriate. So all night long, that's all I did, was look up Jonas, 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 Jonas. Everything. And by the end of the night, I was an Uber. I was completely addicted to the Jonas Brothers. So I stayed up until like 2 a.m. looking up Jonas Brothers things. And the very next day, while they were at school, that's what I did all day long. I looked up Jonas stuff and, came to the conclusion that not only was I addicted to the Jonas Brothers, but also that there was basically nothing inappropriate about their lyrics or about their songs, and, decided that she could download whatever she wanted. Although at that point I think I had downloaded everything anyway so I could listen to it. And one of the videos I ended up clicking on the second day was, it was like a title video. There was just pictures and, like a title in there. And I was very confused, and I clicked on the description, and it was a chapter to a story. I had no idea what it was. It was tagged with a fan fiction tag, so I searched fan fiction on YouTube and found a ton of it, and searched fan fiction on Google and just discovered this whole community of writers and stories, and just fantastic. And at that point I really felt like I knew just about everything there was to know about the Jonas Brothers. I literally stayed up for 2 days straight and just like Jonas. So I thought, well, that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do to use up my time. I will write a fan fiction story. I'll write a Jonas fan fiction story. And that's how When the Lights Go Down was born. When I decided to write a fan fiction, the only thing I really knew was that I wanted it to be Jonas. I hadn't done much reading of fan fiction at all, so I wasn't really sure of any kind of genre, but I thought, I like to stick to what I know. And I thought, wouldn't it be neat to tell a Jonas story from a girl's point of view? And what girl is better to tell a story, the inside story, than a sister? The whole idea of the story, is to show the behind the scenes type stuff, the stuff that we don't see with the paparazzi videos and on stage. The idea was to show what it's like with them at home. And so that's what the title is about. The title is about, when they're up there on the stage in the lights, they're the Jonas Brothers. When the lights go down, and they come home, they're my brothers. And so that's where the title was born. Well, honestly, When the Lights Go Down is primarily based on my life as a teen. I am B. The things that she thinks and says and the situation she finds herself in, those, or the majority of those, really happened. And if they didn't happen, they're based around something that actually did happen. But to be honest, sometimes it's almost like I sit down and I write and I don't realize what I write. I don't proof my chapters, so when I write it and I post it and that's done. And I don't go back and read it really. So it's a little discombobulating sometimes when I'll receive a review, down the line. I'll receive a new reader and they'll leave a review on an older chapter. And sometimes I don't understand what the review is pertaining to, so I'll click on the chapter and go read it really quick to see what the comment is about. And there's been a lot of times where I sit and I read it and I don't remember writing it at all. And there's been a lot of times that I sat there and laughed at my own story, just like laughed my butt off at my own story, which sounds pathetic, but it's almost like it was written by somebody else. So I don't know. The majority of my inspiration or my ideas come from my life as a teen. The rest of them, I'm not sure where they come from. Somewhere in my head, but wherever that place is pretty witty because it makes me laugh too. All of my stories are based on my life at some point. When the Lights Go Down and Chilton are based on my life as a teen. Just different sections of my life. Chilton really kind of focuses on, the rebellion and the dealing with loss. Even though I didn't lose my parents, I did lose my very best friend when I was a teen. And that angst that comes along with losing somebody that you love. Being a teen is hard enough, but when you deal with a death, it does some crazy stuff to you and your attitude and the way you view things. And that's kind of where that focus is. I did attend a private school and I did lose somebody very close to me. And I was pretty rebellious. So, CC is that part of me. Whereas B, it focuses on friendship and love and things of that sort for the most part. But if you're reading both When the Lights Go Down and Chilton, you've probably noticed that Cece and Bailey, their personalities are very similar, and the reason for that is that they're both me. They're both based on me. The other characters in my story are all based on real people in my life. Livy is based on one of my very best friends, Tabby, that I grew up with. She grew up across the street. And just the way she interacts with B, the conversations that they have, even little things about Livy are all based on Tabby. Even things like the grilled cheese and peanut butter. That's a personal thing about Tabitha that I snuck in there. Peanut. Peanut is real. Her name is Ivy. And, that's who I base Livy on. That's how I write her.